What is up, YouTube? This is the Working Investor. In this video, we're going to talk about a fund called OMAH. It's from Vista Shares. It's a Target 15 fund, and it's based on the theme of Berkshire Hathaway. So you get to have some dividend income and some exposure to the style of Warren Buffett. Shout out to SCSU300 from the Discord for pointing out this ticker. Nothing here is financial advice, tax advice, legal advice, or any other advice. This is for fun and entertainment purposes only. You could see the description on the website, but let's get right into the prospectus. You could see from the prospectus that they're actually coming out with a whole bunch of Target 15 funds, and some of them have like quality income, low volatility income, value income. You can see the theme here that people are going more of like a risk-off approach. That's my take on it, and they still want to get some income. And there's a disclaimer that this has not been approved, so it's a criminal offense if you represent it to the contrary. So that's all it says over here. So I cannot tell you about the accuracy because it says you cannot mention any accuracy of this prospectus. So this is some kind of a draft. So I'm not sure if it's really finalized or not. So we'll have to stay tuned. Here you can see the objective. It primarily seeks for income, and then it looks for long-term capital appreciation. So on this draft, it says here they're going to invest in the Berkshire Select Index. So it looks like it's not all the holdings of Warren Buffett. It says here that the index reflects a select group of 20 equity holdings that represent the publicly disclosed investments of Berkshire Hathaway. We know it's a multinational conglomerate led by Warren Buffett, and it's known for value-oriented long-term investment philosophy. But then, so there's at least 20 holdings, and then they say that they also try to hold approximately 10% directly into Berkshire Hathaway Group. We're going to skip around, but you could read the whole entire prospectus or prospectus draft. That's, we can't say it's finalized or not on your own. So it sounds like it's two opposite things. They're trying to get something that has low volatility, nice growth, but also get a target income. That's a very hard checkbox to get, because in order to get good income, you want to get some implied volatility. But if you have lower implied volatility, but you get more growth. So it's kind of like it's a hard trade-off. It's a very hard balance to do. And they mentioned sometimes they can hold up to 30 securities. And it looks like this strategy they mentioned is like a covered call strategy from what I'm reading over here. And of course, like many other income funds, they hold some cash in treasuries. Let's go ahead and take a look at their holdings from their holdings page. So here you can see their holdings. Look at their number one holding on top. It's BRKB. And here you can see Apple. You can see a whole bunch of other stuff they have in there from Berkshire Hathaway. And if you go to the bottom, you're going to see that they do cover calls. It looks like they own the holding, and what I understand here, they're running cover calls on them. So they have a lot of famous names like Kroger and Visa, Moody's Corp, Occidental. One of the things I look at is the weightings, like how much weight they put to each fund. So obviously you see the top is 10.03%. That's BRK Group B, like they said. And then you see it's not perfectly equally weighted. They actually kind of have 8.22% on Apple. So that's the next highest holding. And then, then they have everything is a lot of them are 4 or 5%. They go down to 3, 2, and 1 as you go down. So the question is, how have they been performing and what has their dividends been like? So on the website, I still don't see a distribution yet listed, but we're going to find out soon. So why Berkshire Hathaway, and how has this fund, OMAH, been performing? So if you notice year to date, VOO, which represents the S&P 500, is down 4.91%. And this is total return, which includes all the dividends. And if you look at Berkshire Hathaway Group B, BRKB, it's up 16.11%. So it's a very nice divergence. And if you go to the 5-year chart, what I like about Berkshire Hathaway is that over the 5 years, it has historically beaten the underlying index. And if you want to look at correlation coefficient, like how correlated it is to the market, because you see here that divergence, but you don't always see it, the divergence. Let's take a look. So I went on Portfolio Visualizer. You could do Monte Carlo simulations, and you could see here Berkshire Hathaway. It's a grid. So the correlation coefficient to the NASDAQ, the Qs, is 0.57. So correlation coefficient means that something that's 1 is perfectly correlated, because obviously BRKB is perfectly correlated to BRKB. But when you correlate it to the NASDAQ, 1 is perfectly correlated, when you go to like, the point fives, it's like moderately, mid range. If you go to zero, it means it's not really that correlated. So Berkshire Hathaway Group B is like moderately ish, in a range correlated to the Nasdaq. It obviously a better, and it's 0.74 correlation coefficient to the S&P 500. So it's a little bit better of a hedge if you want to compare it to the Nasdaq. Not as a great a hedge if you want to compare it to the S&P, but still somewhat of a hedge. But not perfect. It depends what you're comparing it to. And if you're looking for a risk-adjusted return, there's something called the Sharpe ratio, and you want to compare Berkshire Hathaway Group B to the S&P and the Nasdaq. You could see that the higher it is, the better risk-adjusted return you get. BRKB is a Sharpe. Greater than 1 is good, and lower than 1, even 0.9, 0.8 is not terrible. So according to ChatGPT, you could see that BRKB has a better risk-adjusted return compared to the Nasdaq and to the S&P 500. So that's something interesting. But can we extrapolate that because Berkshire Hathaway Group B performs a certain way, is that how this fund is going to perform? Because they don't own everything in Berkshire Hathaway, from what I understood from this draft prospectus. Again, not finalized perspective. I'm just saying, just read what it says on the website. Or is it different? Because the holding of OMAH holds about 20 or more, holdings, not necessarily all of them. I don't know if the weighting is exactly the same. They do hold 10% of BRKB. They do cap the upside. Does the income that they make from the dividends from the option premium make up for the loss of the upside that they have cap potential? So let's take a look at Seeking Alpha and look at total return, how these perform since they came out March 5th. So I'm going to add OMAH to our list over here, and we're going to update the chart, and this is still total return, but let's change the timeline because they came out March 5th. So let's just look equal time to equal time. So since March 5th, Berkshire Hathaway Group B is up total return. Well, they don't give a dividend, but the return is 7.23%. Okay, that's our baseline. The S&P 500 is down 2.49%. That's why I like to have a little Berkshire and S&P. Now, OMA is up 1.32%. So and this is total return. And yes, you can argue that they did not give a distribution yet, because I don't see one on the website yet. But then even if they didn't give one yet, the distribution should be built into the price currently. And after they give the distribution is outside of the price, but you add it in with total return. So the total return since inception so far, I think it's not doing as well as Berkshire Hathaway Group B based on this chart of Seeking Alpha. So right now I am looking at this underlying, maybe give it some time to kind of find its way. But right now I am holding off on it for now. Oh, just for fun, guess who's doing the options on this fund? So if you go on the website and go to About Us, you'll see, and you go all the way to the bottom, it's our famous Jay Presticelli. So he's the same guy that works for Tidal and does option manager for YieldMax and for I think Defiance and Yield Nest and a lot of other places. So yeah, just wanted to mention that I noticed that. Hi Jay, how are you? Not that I know Jay, but yeah. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys jumping on this? Or you guys want to wait and see how it does? What are your thoughts? This is The Working Investor over and out. Have a wonderful weekend.